My name is Patrick von Arx. I'm an attorney based in Zurich. Today I would like to give you a quick briefing on the features of the Swiss sole proprietorship. Let's start with the disadvantages of the sole proprietorship. The huge disadvantage of the sole proprietorship under Swiss law, that's the following one. The owner of the sole proprietorship, he is personally liable for all corporate debts. Meaning, if his business isn't running very well, he might easily face going into bankruptcy as a natural person. Of course, that has a huge impact of a person's business life, and therefore you should really carefully consider if you really would like to register in the form of a sole proprietorship. In particular, before starting a business, I think you should carry out some sort of a risk analysis to carefully analyze what are your risks, what's the risk of litigation, do you have many suppliers, do you have many employees, do you have a lot of assets involved in your business? And if one of these scenarios occurs, I would strongly recommend not to use a sole proprietorship, rather go for a stock company or go for a limited liability company. Now let's turn to the advantages of a sole proprietorship. One of the key advantages is the sole proprietorship under Swiss law. It's very easy to register. Basically, you just download the forms from the commercial registry, you complete them, and you simply file them with the commercial registry, and some days later your sole proprietorship will already be registered. As easy as the incorporation of a sole proprietorship, it's also the liquidation of a sole proprietorship. You do not need to go through any lengthy liquidation proceedings before you can finally distribute the net proceeds of your liquidation. No, you just once again, you file a form to the commercial registry asking for deregistration. So incorporation or registration and deregistration, that's really very easy if you have a sole proprietorship. One of the huge advantages of a sole proprietorship, of course, it's the following one. You do not need to have any initial capital, meaning there is no requirement to contribute a minimum capital to your sole proprietorship in order to have it registered. Of course, if you have a business which requires some assets, let's say as a company car or office supply, then of course you need to invest some money, but there are no legal requirements on how much money you must invest. Actually, you could even start a sole proprietorship with no money at all. So that's one of the huge advantages of a sole proprietorship over a limited liability company and also over a stock company. There is another advantage of the sole proprietorship. The sole proprietorship, it's really very easy to manage as opposed to a limited liability company or as opposed to a stock company. Because management of a sole proprietorship does not require any shareholders meetings. It does not require any meeting of any board of directors. It does not require any resolutions on payment of any dividends. You just simply run your company, and what is left over, the profit which you are generating at the end of the year, you just simply distribute it to yourself as the owner of the sole proprietorship. So management, the easy way to manage a sole proprietorship, that's really one of the huge advantages of having a sole proprietorship. Of course, although it's quite easy to manage a sole proprietorship, in any event, also the owner of a sole proprietorship, he must draw up annual accounts. That's very important as well. And of course, he also needs to file a tax return on an annual basis. But that's basically the only requirements he needs to meet in terms of corporate law and in terms of tax law. And of course, if you are subject to value-added taxation, of course, then you need to file some additional forms as well. But in terms of corporate law, basically, that's it. I hope this quick video has been helpful to you. See you next time. Goodbye.